The wilderness version of the seafood buffet has a lot of holes. You can't expect to be big. That shrimp is a tiny one. It would be nice to get you a taste of something fresh. You have to catch the fish yourself. Probably only a few on one trip. There's very little meat to eat in the belly. Even if you're lucky enough to get a bigger one. Still not enough to fill my stomach. What? Is that enough to finish the challenge? The challenge continued on day 18. Jamie was tortured by the rain. My hands and feet are so cold that I can hardly feel them, just barely holding on by shaking. What he didn't get was, why do mosquitoes come on rainy days? It really drives people crazy. The wood had been soaked by the rain. It's not easy to burn up. Every now and then, ants come out. Under these environmental conditions, even with a firearm, Jamie couldn't light the fire. The mental state is getting worse and worse. The camera goes to Carla. My stomach's been whining and hungry. Mango, eat too much stomach, also uncomfortable. The only hope is in the fishers. If only I could get a big fish to eat. I feel more confident that I can survive the challenge. But inside, there was nothing to gain. The bait got chewed up by the little fish. Carla didn't realize there weren't any big fish here. I should have made the gap smaller. Well, at least you can eat the baby fish on the hour. I don't have the energy to readjust now. Can only go back to the bait theory. Little fish strolled around his feet. While Carla was thinking about getting a smaller one, suddenly a snake appeared in the water. Ever since I vomited after eating snake meat, she had no more thoughts about it. I just wish I could get away from them. It's important to go back to the shelter and rest. And Taylor had a harder time. I've been living on plants every day. Such a life is really not human. I wish I had some protein. She's forgetting what meat tastes like, you know? The body is already on the verge of collapse. It's all about willpower, even though it's already so hard. Tyler wanted to keep going. Let's get some water and fill up. It's the only way to calm the stomach for a while. There are fewer resources around than we thought. I don't know why so many cactus. Clean the spines off the surface. Then you can set it on fire. It tastes like pickles. I just eat this stuff every day. No matter how good it is, it can get tired. And too much of this is bad for the stomach. It's been a rough life. Carla's side decided to get a fish basket after all. If we catch enough of them, I'm still able to fill my stomach. Now the bait is straight to full anyway. Just waiting for the fish to come in. I hope the body can hold up. James is also struggling with food. There's plenty of food in the pool. His harvest is not very good. His goal now is to bring up the whole catfish. Crush the leftover fish head. If we use these as bait, I'm sure it'll attract all the catfish. James is very confident about that. You can hunt with a bow and arrow. Things are looking up. When did the catfish get here? James couldn't wait any longer. Go straight into the water and look for it. The catfish are getting louder and louder over here. James approached as slowly as he could. I wish I could just shoot it in the face. After a long wait, I finally found my chance. The gesture was so handsome, but it didn't hit. Now the water is black and muddy. Can't tell where the catfish is going. It's getting late. I should get some rest myself. I hope we catch the catfish tomorrow. Carla was too hungry to have strength. I just want to lie in the shelter and stare. Of all the challenges, this is the most hungry. You have to check the basket if you feel bad. It went better than expected. It's a little small, but it's meat. I should have known the fish were so easy to catch. You should have made the basket smaller in the first place. The big fish basket did get us a crawfish. Today's harvest is not bad. Barely enough for a snack. It's easy to cook through. It smells really good. If only they were a little bigger. Jamie finally got the fire going. It's just too bad it doesn't burn well. Can only slowly add firewood to sustain. Compare it to the previous challenge. Both their physical qualities, again, mental state, is much better than before. There's just so little food here. I can't even show off my hunting skills on camera. I came here thinking it was a good thing not to have a partner. Now I know how happy the two-person challenge is. At least I don't have to talk to the camera every day. It's really hard to change that. It's only been a few days since the challenge ended. But the body is really weak, may not be able to withstand it. Every day is really hard. Why don't we see what's going on at the trap first? Good luck catching a catfish today. It's not easy living here. Get this cleaned up right away. Old-fashioned wrapped in leaves and roasted. It's the same familiar smell. What could be more delicious? I was about to cry. The body finally regained some strength. Day 19 of the challenge. Taylor's not a great sleeper. I can hear my stomach playing all the time. I feel the acid in my mouth. Eating cactus every day is not the answer. Must get enough meat to eat. Otherwise, I wouldn't last a day. Tyler is struggling to quit the challenge. What if there's no meat today? I think I might as well go home. Taylor went into the river to look for shrimp. It's a familiar position, a familiar approach. I'm not going to make any more stupid mistakes. That lid still goes nowhere. This time we'll use the package. I'm sure it won't be washed away again. Tyler slowly moved the nearby rocks away. There's a lot of shrimp out here, although each of them is not big. But as long as the numbers come up, I can still fill my stomach. I feel like I can complete the challenge again. Tyler starved for 19 days. It's a decent meal at last. The shrimp is cooked. Tyler didn't forget to set them up. There are 9 shrimp to eat. I was almost moved to tears. She pulled the shell off. Chew the meat slowly in your mouth and taste it. It's the first time shrimp tastes so good. We have 2 days to evacuate. It's certainly not enough on its own. Jamie wants to look further afield. The plan is to make a raft out of bamboo. Then we can follow the river, hoping to find more food. It's not that hard to set up. I'm just tired of cutting and moving materials. Jamie wanted something a little simpler, as long as it helps people float. I miss having a partner to help me out. You don't have to make yourself so tired. He just tied it up with vines. It doesn't look very strong. Is it really possible to float on this surface? And James is exhausted on this side. The traps we laid earlier didn't work. It just feels like a bunch of garbage. In addition to collecting firewood every day, it's like nothing really pays off. We don't have enough strength left to evacuate. James is weak enough to quit the challenge. Only 2 days left. Do we really have to give up and go home? Day 20 of the challenge. James was visibly emaciated. I ate every edible plant in the neighborhood. This is the only one that tastes better so far. Try to pick the younger parts. Put these in a pot and boil them. It takes a while to eat. James takes the most primitive approach to catching fish. Hopefully this will give us some meat. Only 2 days left to complete the challenge. Even a small fish is enough for him. James does not walk very fast. Try to let in as many fish as possible. You can still catch a fish in one trip. These go to the ashes and cook, plus the picked leaves. In theory, it should be up to the challenge. It just doesn't taste very good. If it wasn't for the challenge, he will never eat this leaf in his life. It tastes bad even with fish. I just want to throw it up. James doesn't want to eat these anymore. The camera goes to Taylor. Both physical and mental. He thinks he's reached his limit. Only 2 days left. What do you say to push the limits? Talking to himself in front of the camera. Trying to believe there's still a chance. Follow the map to the extraction point. The best thing is to get a raft and go out on the water. So even if you are weak, you must hold on. Fortunately, the surrounding materials are abundant. Cut down the reeds and tie them together. Tyler's not looking forward to food anymore. She just wants to get through the evacuation with what's left of her. These reeds will be more buoyant. It's no problem at all in the water. Tyler wants to work on the details. We'll be able to ride here to the extraction point. And Jamie's starving on the other side. A large pot of water is brewing for drinking. He can't wait to get to the extraction point. Tyler's worried about the evacuation tomorrow. I'm afraid the raft will start to fall apart before it's halfway through. Or maybe they don't have enough buoyancy. I get bored just thinking about it. Before you know it, the last day has come. James felt it was very exciting. The challenge depends on today. There is not enough food to fill the stomach. I'm still afraid I'll faint on the floor. Anyway, this is the last mile left, okay. Anything to get to the extraction point. Pack up and head to your destination. Jamie's just waking up here. The challenge was even more tiring than expected. It feels like more than 21 days. Now I just want to clean up quickly. I really don't want to stay any longer. Might as well go home early and have a nice meal. Jamie carries the raft to the river. How have you ever used it yourself? I hope it doesn't suddenly fall apart. The camera goes to Taylor. He doesn't think there's anything to miss. Everything is ready. I wonder what's going on with the raft. It's also a question of making it to the evacuation point. The raft will be reinforced before the test. Although he said his body is already very weak, but there is still strength to evacuate. It's going to be a lot easier with Jamie. Don't worry about being attacked by snakes when you're in the water. It saves a lot of energy for walking. He's made it to the other side. All right, let's get to the extraction point. Jamie's been gone for 2.5 hours. At a steady rate. Doesn't look like someone who's been starving for days. In fact, he has no energy to notice anything else. All I wanted was to get to the extraction point. It took a lot of time and effort. It's good to see something different. Prove you're at the extraction point. If there's no accident, there will be. It's a good thing Jamie's got a little cushion on his ass. Or I might end up on this floor. That's when the show car came. Jamie can finally breathe a sigh of relief. I was almost moved to tears. Now I just want to get back to a good meal. Congratulations to Jamie for being the first to complete the challenge. He thinks he can now again, if I get another chance to come over. Jamie was hoping to find a partner for the challenge. This challenge is quite difficult. 21 days, probably less than I ate in a day. Let's see what happens to the other contestants. James is trying to get to the extraction point. The road was full of troublesome thorns. I'm about to pierce my foot. Fortunately, there was a road not far ahead. You walk right down to the lake. The hippo is splashing in the water over there. Scared James to make a detour out of here. The extraction point is that way up ahead. Plenty of time for him to leave. James was in no hurry. Just walk slowly at this pace. I think we can already see the extraction point. The moment James heard the engine start, the mood is so excited. Prove yourself once again, even to face the challenge alone, with the ability to starve. James successfully completed the challenge. Now I just want to go back and have a nice bath and sleep. Of course, it's better to have some hamburgers. He's afraid he'll pass out when he relaxes. If the show invites me over next time, he has to ask what are the food resources. I don't want to go through another starvation ordeal. And Tyler was floating down the river on a raft. It was a lot of excitement along the way. Nearly capsized and sank several times. There were stone marks all over his body. It's a good thing Tyler's got some flesh to hold on to. That's when we got to the evacuation point. The whole person was so excited. From the bad start to the back of the confused helplessness. Did you barely eat the whole time? You can imagine how weak he is. Tyler was just gritting his teeth. Now I see the show's car. Finally able to relax a little. I thought it was easy to do it alone. Turns out, having a partner is so much better. Even if the other side has no strength at all. But it was nice enough to talk. 3 people have completed the challenge so far. I wonder how the rest of the contestants will do. Let's wait and see. There are plenty of foods that have more protein than beef. But these are the only bugs you can get in the wild. They are very fat and beautiful. Just put it in the water and cook. Look how tempting this is. The moment you bite it open, it's too good to chew. I don't even want to describe the taste. I wonder if this is really better than beef. Day 19 of the challenge. Although Frando had a giant rabbit before, but my stomach is still growling. Go out every day and look for food. The elephant here just finished drinking and left. Watch the water go down here. Frendo fears the water will disappear before the challenge is over. The rest of it doesn't look so good. All he could think of was to dig a well next to it. Frando has been through the naked challenge many times. I've always done challenges with my partner. It does feel different to be alone. It must be very stressful. Now for clean water. I was trying to dig deeper. I'd love an elephant to help. They do it with one kick. Now I'm afraid after digging. Elephants come here every day to drink. The camera goes to Che-un. I can still order leftover catfish on the hour. It's just getting colder and colder lately. Stay in the shelter. It's like a refrigerator. My fingers are freezing. And the Frandona puddle is out of the water. The color looks much better. Enough to last until the challenge is over. I hope the elephants are nice to the water. I don't want to dig another hole. The elephant herd from the start. Every time I run into him, I have to go around. Serious suspicion is that they scare their prey away. So far, I have never been successful in bow hunting. There was nothing Frendo could do but complain. I just hope this challenge is over soon. Carla, on the other hand, was not so lucky. I don't know why my stomach started to hurt. The state of mind is very poor. The body is also constantly breaking out cold sweat. This is not the way to go. I was afraid I wouldn't make it to evacuation day. Just look at the skin. I'll see how hard Kara is going through. Like the previous challenge, their own life more uncomfortable. I could not resist and chose to give up. Kara's going to be a lot stronger this time. Try to be positive about it. Suddenly something turned around. Man, this bug is making your scalp burn. I just hope it's in my mind. I'm afraid my head will go bald. There's a reaction on this side of the forehead. It's like burning by the fire. It's been going on for a long time without relief. Just see if there's anything that can help, you know? So far it's just dirt and running water. Hopefully it'll make the wound feel a little better. It took half an hour for the situation to ease. That made Carla feel a little better. Let's see what Cha-eun is doing. She especially enjoys the sun. It warms up the body. The shelter is actually pretty good, but it can't keep out the cold. There's a cold wind blowing in the ass all the time. She is going to dispose of a hide. Wrap your ass up. It's not very complicated to make. It's just a cut, anyway, so the tape can go through. The short skirt is very effective. It warmed up instantly. I can continue to work on the challenge. It's been raining on Friendo since nightfall. The roof of the shelter is not in good shape. Every now and then a raindrop falls. If the rain were any heavier, it feels like the roof can't even hold up. Let's just hope it doesn't put out the fire. Sleep must be afraid to sleep. I just wish I had a chance to take a nap. Day 20 of the challenge. Although the rain has stopped, but the temperature did not rise. I was left shivering in the shelter. Drink some water on the hour first. Frando thinks this temperature is really unhuman. I wish the show would give me a hide. After the rain washed out the outside. It's getting wet all around. It's hard to get firewood to go home now. The only good news is, don't worry about the water. Feels like it could turn into a river. Don't know where I can get food. After the water, go back to the shelter and get warm. Chan would be better off with the hide. The problem is that there is less and less food. I said I'd be home by tomorrow, but I'd like a good meal before I leave. I don't want to be too hungry to leave. Fortunately, we found a cave. Sounds like a bee. Maybe we can eat some honey on the hour. Chae-eun is a little worried about getting stung. What if it causes some kind of physical problem? That's really not worth it. Chae-eun, so this whole constantly watching and wandering. I can smell the sweetness of the honey myself. You know, this bee is very aggressive. Even if we return to the shelter, there will be retaliation. Cha-eun struggled for a long time. Finally decided not to take the risk. I'd rather starve than be sent away by bees. If it were you, would you risk getting the honey off? The camera goes to Carla. She's in desperate need of a food supplement. I won't have the strength to evacuate tomorrow. The little fish basket is a stable way to get snacks. If only I had 10 more. I am confident that I can complete the challenge. It was a little bit smaller, but it's better than nothing, right? Chae-eun here changed the way of thinking. To get food from rotting wood. I thought we'd be lucky to get 1 or 2. I didn't expect to see so much when I opened it. I'm very pleased with the size. You don't need to do anything about it. Just put it in the pan and cook it. That's several times the protein of beef. Put it in your mouth and taste it slowly. The moment you bite it open, it's all juice. I suggest you chew a little more. It's much smoother when you swallow it. As for the taste, I really don't want to bring up memories. Let's just say a little barbecue sauce would be better. The camera goes to Carla. There's only so much meat for crawfish. Probably not enough to plug my teeth. Carla was content. I just want to chew through the shell and swallow it. I was afraid I wasn't going to make it. But after eating this meat, I feel like I could do it again. Just thunder in the distance. Looks like the last night's going to be a storm. The mood is a lot of instant down. The temperature is obviously dropping quite a bit. She didn't have the time or energy to stock up on firewood. I wonder how it's going tonight. As long as the fire doesn't go out, should the body be no big problem. It's also cold here in Frendo. The fire was the only way to keep them warm. I really want a partner right now. It's not just helping out with the fire at night. You can hug each other to keep warm. This challenge did not go well for me. It's a waste of energy most of the time. Every now and then I think about going home. I've been able to hold on to this by myself. I think I'm pretty good if I can do the challenge again. I was hoping for a partner, even if she can't do anything. It's nice to talk to myself. I wonder why the wind is getting stronger. The body is feeling colder and colder, barely holding it off by shaking his legs. I'm not going to be able to sleep well tonight. Got to keep an eye on the fire. If this goes out, it's all over. And Frando's not going to take the night off either. And so it was until dawn. I hope I wake up tomorrow with the energy to evacuate. Carla is much worse. I didn't expect it to be this cold on my last night. The thunder never stops outside. I spent the night worrying about the shelter. This is out of Carla's mind. It feels like some mysterious force is at work. I don't think anyone's actually coming over. Carla won't be able to sleep anyway. Can only keep the fire in the rain. I want to throw myself in the fire, so you don't have to worry about getting cold. For the first time, I wish it would be early. She was afraid that something would happen to her body. If we don't give up the challenge until the last day, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. The mental state is getting worse and worse. Just keeping the fire going. I've used up all my energy. The rain doesn't stop. The fire can't even keep warm anymore. Now, besides praying for the rain to stop, like there's really nothing left to do. Finally came to the last day unconsciously. Freno was feeling a little tired. We're on our way to the extraction point. It was very exciting inside. I hope I can get out of here and go home soon. It's been a long time since I've eaten my wife's cooking. It's a beautiful day outside. Clean up the shelter briefly. Frando will be crossing the prairie soon. Find that giant anthill. Take a walk along the river first. Cheun is also getting ready to evacuate. Mental state that's pretty good. And in the mood to do my own makeup. Hurry up and pack up the shelter. She's going to cross 6 kilometers of desert. You meet all kinds of dangerous creatures on the road. Cheun doesn't think there's a problem. Think of it as taking in the scenery along the way. I was just starting to get in the mood. I'm not busy collecting materials. Just lay down in the shelter and rest. Although now the body is also very tired. But he's in good spirits. Go up to the top and determine your direction. Let's see what's going on with Carla. Last night's rainstorm almost sent me away. Now you can only warm up by warming up. They're evacuating today. Carla doesn't see any physical problems. We're ready to evacuate. It's a long way from the evacuation point. Just walking through the jungle is hard enough. The climb is more tiring on the riverbed. Not to mention the snakes on the road. If I'm not careful, it could have flipped, even if Carla was careful enough. But it was still pricked by thorns. It's a hell of a road back there. It's easier on the Frendo side. Go up the riverbed. Didn't encounter any dangerous animals. Just seeing lion tracks on the road makes him a little nervous. Hopefully, when we need the show crew to rescue us, show up in time. Now I am tired and thirsty. Frendo didn't want to stop and rest. He wanted to get home early and be together. I had to endure the pain across the prairie. And Cheun has reached the river. The extraction point is on the other side. She felt that she would soon be able to complete the challenge. So even if the body is tired, there was no intention of stopping to rest. Frando is getting closer to the evacuation point. He kept following the direction of the sun. Every now and then I run into thorns on the ground. It's not a problem, just a little tired. Soon to the giant sand dunes. Frando was wondering why no one came. Stand up here and keep looking around. When I thought I was looking in the wrong place. The show car is finally here. This challenge is not an easy one. Frando was finally able to relax. I've taken part in so many challenges. This is the hardest thing to do alone. If it wasn't for that giant rabbit, I would have quit the challenge a long time ago. He needs a good workout when he gets back. Try to make a good living the next time you're alone. The show was pretty happy with him. Guess we'll see Frendo in the next challenge. He's pretty excited right now anyway. All I can think about is my wife's cooking. And Carla's here in the jungle. The rain last night made it very wet. There is no time to complain. Get the hell out of here now. The dry riverbed is not easy to walk on. It's slippery on the stone. She didn't want to hurt herself on the last walk. The most annoying thing is that there are snakes. You have to look more closely. Soon she came to the river shown on the map. This doesn't mean that you can complete the challenge quickly. The mood is getting excited. It's just not safe to swim to the other side. Afraid of being washed away by the river. The best place to start is on the softer side. Although the journey will be a little longer, but at least you don't have to worry about being washed away. Everything's fine as long as Carla doesn't fall. There was no danger and came to the other side smoothly. The show car was already waiting for her. Carla was in the best mood ever. It's not easy to complete the challenge alone. She's more of a team player. Snake meat almost went wrong in both challenges. She thought she could go back and cook. Let's see if it's the stomach or the cooking. If you can't eat snakes in the wild, that's really half as delicious. Anyway, can you complete the challenge? Carla was more than content. I don't know if I'll get a chance to take part in the challenge. Now Chaun still hasn't finished the challenge. The extraction point is right up there. I mean, this is the last of it, but the burden on the body is very heavy. The walking speed is quite slow. You have to take a break from time to time. Chaun also spent a lot of time and energy before they reach their destination. I have to say the air up there is good. Soon a helicopter was heard coming. Car in Hanging Heart is finally put down. I've had a good time with this challenge. It's just too cold at night. Hide and Fire just barely holding on. Chaun thinks he is terrible now. I hope the next challenge can be arranged soon, preferably with a partner. In fact, I wanted to go home on the 5th day. I didn't think I could make it this far. Don't know where to go next challenge. Let's wait and see.